Hello, everyone, and welcome into Bracketball. This is Drew Veach bringing you our start of our off-season coverage for college basketball for the upcoming 2025-2026 season. Obviously, it's a quick turnaround. I know the championship game just happened on Monday, but let's get right into it. One of my favorite things I always look forward to at the end of the championship, when after one shining moment's over and there's no games left to be played and the sadness and nostalgia really starts to sink in, it's that ESPN way too early top 25. Yes, it's ridiculous. Yes, I understand it means nothing. However, this is a great way for us to talk about the teams and who they might be bringing back. One thing about the transfer portal and NIL era, something is always happening. Change is always on the come up. And there's new roster adjustments even throughout while the tournament was going on. So we want to dive into a little bit of that. I want to see the ESPN ranking, and we'll go through it and talk about which teams I can see really having an impact on next year's March Madness and the whole season as an entirety. I'm really excited for next year already. I really do feel like this tournament was a little bit underwhelming at times. Obviously, you have to appreciate for the NCAA tournament for what it is, and March Madness will always be great no matter what. But we had a weird finish to the title game. We had a little bit of lack of upsets. It still did not discredit how great that Final Four was. As a fan, I'm still very pleased, even though Florida did cut down the nets in San Antonio. However, I am interested to see a lot of the players coming back and what next year's roster will look like, especially for my Kansas Jayhawks, but we'll dive into all of it. Starting right here on Bracketball, let's get into it. We will do the first half of our top 25, starting from 25 down, and then we will bring you the rest tomorrow. Coming in at number 25 on the way too early ESPN top 25 list for next season is the North Carolina Tar Heels. Seth Trimble's recently announced he's coming back. He averaged 11.6 a game last year. They have Elliot Cadeau, who entered the transfer portal. They did pick up Henry Vasar, who was a great portal addition, the center out of Arizona. With Vasar, then Caleb Williams, a high recruit, Derek Dixon as well, Jonathan Powell, 8.3 points a game last year in West Virginia. This is a North Carolina team I expect to have actually live up to their expectations this upcoming season. I don't expect anything crazy out of this team, but I could see them in that 6 to 8 seed range, potentially making noise as a potential upset. But we'll see what their team entails. Number 24, the Texas Longhorns recently hired Sean Miller, who came from Xavier. Rodney Terry was fired after the short stay in the NCAA tournament when they lost to Sean Miller. It's usually if you can't beat him, join him. But I guess if you can't beat him, just go ahead and take their coach. That's what the Longhorns did. They bring in Dalen Swain, who played for Miller at Xavier. They bring in a transfer, Matas Vokatatis, coming from Florida Atlantic. Jordan Pope is back. Chanel Weaver's back. Tremont Mark's back. An underrated thing from coaches in the portal is when you take a new job, can you retain the players from the year before? That's something Sean Miller did. I expect Texas to be a lot better this upcoming season. Number 23, the Ohio State Buckeyes, led by Jake Diebler. He's back. Bruce Thornton is back. One of the best guards in college basketball, potential All-American to watch for. John Mobley's also back. Devin Reel's back. Sean Stewart. Christopher Tilly out of the transfer portal. This is a team with a lot of returning talent. I could really see this team making a big jump and being a consistent top 15 team in the nation next season. At number 22, the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Most important thing to note, JT Toppin is back. Darren Williams is in the portal, but Toppin will be making more than some NBA draft picks this upcoming season. Kristen Anderson's back. Kevin Overton's back. Federico's back. You can see the two big lineup with Toppin and Federico, potentially more. This Texas Tech team, 22, feels a little bit of a disservice. I know they're losing some key pieces and some shooting, but this team's not going anywhere. Grant McCassin will have this team back, and they will be ready to go. Number 21, the Tennessee Volunteers. Jacoby Gillespie, the transfer from Maryland. He is taking over the point guard roles for Rick Barnes. They have a couple players coming out of the portal. And then Felix Akpar is also back at center. Tennessee, I expect kind of a down year for them. Lanier's gone. Mashak's gone. Milovich is gone. And Ziegler's gone. Reserves Gainier gone. Dubar's gone. They lost a lot. But Rick Barnes is as consistent as ever. He's yet to make a Final Four, but that does not deter his consistency for that team. Coming in number 20, it's the Gonzaga Bulldogs out of the West Coast Conference. They lost a lot as well. Braden Smith, the transfer out of Colgate, who sat this past season. After transferring, he's there. Still Venters did not play last season due to injury. He's the transfer from Eastern Washington. It could be a year where I could see Gonzaga struggling in the non-con, but Mark Few always gets it done on the West Coast. They'll probably go ahead and win the West Coast Conference per usual, make the tournament. We'll see what happens from there. Then your defending champions, the Florida Gators. They'll bring back Denzel Aberdeen. Expect Urban Klobjar off the bench to play more. They have a couple recruits. And then Thomas Houck and Ruben Chingalu, who are great in the tournament, they'll be back. You never know what to expect from Florida. I expect them to get a key transfer. We'll see if Alex Condon comes back, but expect Hal to jump into a big role, potentially averaging 15 or more a game next season. That's what I would expect from him. Number 18 is Michigan State. Jace Richardson leads the way. Jackson Kohler's back. They should have Cohen Carr back. Fears will be back at point guard. Tom Izzo's always going to return his guys. He's not always looking in the portal like the rest of these coaches. I would even expect him to be better than number 18. Number 17 is Arizona. They have Jaden Bradley back. They'll lose, obviously, Caleb Love, but Tommy Lloyd's as good of a coach as any in the country. They'll also be back to where they were this past year. And then BYU. 16th on the preseason list. This is something to note. They have A.J. DeBanza, who's recently taken over the number one spot in the rankings by Darren Peterson for my Kansas Jayhawks, who we'll talk about here next. DeBanza, now number 2 in the recruiting, still in a sensational talent. They have Keita coming back. Richie Saunders is back. That Richie Saunders and A.J. DeBanza duo is going to be dangerous. With Igor Dimon losing him to the draft, what did they need in his place? The answer is Robert Wright. Coming out of Baylor, and the Baylor Bears did not expect him to transfer. BYU will have him as their starting guard. Saunders in the backcourt. This Cougars team, there is no ceiling. Top 10, expect it all. They're going to be dangerous in the Big 12. For my own Kansas Jayhawks, it was a little murky at times. Scary. Very uncertain of what could happen for the future. But they will clean the slate for the house, and we have a whole new roster coming back. Darren Peterson, the sensational guard, number 1 now overall recruit. You have Marco Jackson, who had a torn ACL, was a former McDonald's All-American. He'll be back playing in a predominant role. Trey White, 10-point per game transfer out of Illinois. Jaden Dawson, 13.9% or point per game player from Loyola Chicago. And then the great Flory Badunga, who withdrew from the transfer portal, got a bag here at Kansas, and he's back. That's going to be huge. There was 25 through 15. We will stop there and be back with you tomorrow for more. That rounds out our way too early top 25 to 15. Again, thank you everyone for tuning into another great episode of Bracketball. Probably could bring you numbers 25 through 15 on our way too early top 25 list from ESPN. And the previews I've given for each of these teams. I know it's a quick end of the year, but there's no better way to turn it around than go ahead and talk about next year. Again, we'll have NBA playoffs coming up. We'll have draft coming up. We'll speak on some of those things as well. But do not forget, tomorrow we'll be back with the rest of that top 25. That's something you won't want to miss. You'll want to see who is projected to have true chances to cut down the nets next season. It's potential sleepers as well to potentially climb up into the top 5. Again, it's Drew Veach, the best college hoops analysis you'll find on the internet. It's always here at Bracketball. We're your number one option. No one else. No one else ever. Thank you again. Please like, subscribe, hit in the comments, DM me, whatever you need to do. But thank you again for another great episode here on Bracketball. We will see you tomorrow. See you next time. It's Bracketball, Drew Veach. Bye-bye, everyone.